I've been waiting for you.
And here I am.
Oh God, say something. I'd never get to this point. The winter platter is so hot and creamy. Okay.
Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, it is a lovely time to be a Monster Hunter fan. With the release of Wilds on the horizon for next year in 2025, there has been a massive resurgence in player base for Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, with a good portion of those people even starting fresh playthroughs, and hey, there's even a wave of people brand new to the series as well trying it out for the first time. With all that in mind, while the obvious path for those going through the game again is to follow the story quests, the assignments, progress through the game one monster at a time, and then head directly to Iceborne and do the same, there's actually a lot that you can miss by doing it like that. Of course, it goes without saying that you should do all the DLC monsters as well, things like Devil Joe or Culve if you can, as those are all incredible experiences in their own right. But even outside of that, there's a whole world of event quests that were added in batches throughout the life cycle of the game, and at this stage, they are all active all the time, with some slight exceptions, of course, which means that there are dozens and dozens of bonus quests that you can do. So let's dive into the world of event quests that still exists in World and Iceborne, and highlight all the ones that I believe are still worth your time today, absolutely. Still of exceptional value for one reason or another. First things first, I want to quickly mention these 4 event quests. They are tied to the Assassin's Creed collaboration and the Monster Hunter movie collaboration, and they are no longer in the game. So if you knew about these and were looking for them for whatever reason, they are simply gone now due to licensing reasons. Moving on from that then, we'll be starting mostly with low and high rank before moving on to master rank, so you have some idea of when to do these, and I will also try to group them up a bit where possible in sections. Our first section then is special weapons for low and high rank, and this includes the quest Where Sun Meets Moon, which is only 3-star to complete, and the reward is a ticket that you can use to craft the Downy Crake dual blades, which are beautifully fluffy sleep weapons that can also be upgraded further later in the game. There's also Timberland Troublemakers, a 4-star quest to hunt a couple of Anjanath, and this rewards you with a ticket that you can use to craft the Bristly Crake Hammer, a silly looking poison hammer which again can be upgraded even further. Then the third of these, at least early on, is Every Hunter's Dream. This specifically is to unlock the rocket-powered greatsword! And this one, past being cool looking, is actually really strong as a greatsword in general, at least in base world for sure, if you keep it upgraded, so this is definitely worth hopping on for greatsword players. Then we have essentially just the full collection of USJ quests. These are collaborations with Universal Studios Japan's, and they have fun, interesting sized monsters within the quests that make them enjoyable in themselves, but they also give you materials to craft the Azure Longsword, as well as this entire armor set as well. There are even more USJ quests in Master Rank 2 that are worth doing for the same reason than upgrading the same gear. Moving on from weapons then, let's talk helmets specifically, where you can get some really unique looks from a few event quests here. The first being Wiggle Me This, a quest to deliver a handful of wigglers and in return get a ticket that lets you craft the beautiful Wiggler helm. But then also King's No Fear to hunt a Rathalos and Desert Rathalos, but the tickets that you get from this let you make a layered Wiggler helmet, letting you have all that floppy goodness but without being locked to the skills on the helmet. Then similarly there is Egg Lovers United to hunt a massive Kulu-Yaku, which is fun on its own of course, but this also gives you the materials to craft the Kulu-Yaku head, which is another incredibly important helmet. And then there's also a Royal Pain to hunt a Rathian and Pink Rathian, which in turn gives you a ticket that lets you craft the Mosswine helmet to complete your collection of silly heads for the base game. Then we have some more complete package type quests. There is Code Red, which is an actually tough quest in the arena to hunt, well, just a number of red fiery monsters, and in doing so you get a material that unlocks a full Dante armor set from Devil May Cry, as well as the Dante Devil Sword Charge Blade, which if nothing else looks absolutely badass, and with it having 2 forms, being sword and bigger sword. There's also challenge quest events, which are essentially little arenas, and in base world there was just a bunch of these for a Street Fighter collaboration through which you can unlock multiple Street Fighter armor sets to actually use. They're quite fun for sure, and there's like 6 different ones of these, so they're totally worth it for Street Fighter fans. Then we also have Contract Woodland Spirit, which is specifically the final quest of the Witcher collaboration event that unlocks after doing the single player portions, and this is a 4-player scaled special version of the unique monster, the Ancient Leshen, which is a fun experience on its own, especially with there being an active player base existing in base world endgame appropriate gear right now to fight it with, and the reward for it is the layered Witcher armor, so you can look like a Witcher full time if you want to. After that we have one of the most challenging quests that we've had in a very long time, Visitor from Eorzea Extreme, which is Extreme Behemoth from the Final Fantasy XIV crossover. I know a lot of people who believe this quest is actually nicely balanced feeling for solo play and full master rank gear, so that is of course an option, but again, with the currently active endgame of base world players existing at the moment, it's a fun time to try it again with a 4-player party in appropriate gear, and the way that it was actually mechanically meant to be done because it was built for 4 people, and that way you can just remember just how tight this quest is, how hard it is, but also how satisfying it is if you can beat it. Not to mention that completing it does unlock the ability to have Draken layered armor, and it is a pretty great looking armor set. Then we have Rush of Blood, which gets you a cute little Mega Man Palico outfit if that's something that you'd like to have, and then just a few more quests worth doing for experience alone if nothing else. Moss Weinen and Dynan is the New Year's event quest from the base game. This simply creates a bunch of gigantic moss wines and gives them similar AI to Bullfango from previous Monster Hunter games, having them just charge at you constantly, and the reward for the quest is just a pile of Zenny and trade-in items for more Zenny, so good for farm, and also a very unique quest to shove yourself into. Then we also have the Greatest Jagras, which was also a special hunt, and this simply contains the strongest Great Jagras who has ever lived. He is massive, he's got enhanced moves, he's more damaging by a large amount, and he even spits up little goodies for you to pick up like you're one of his children. Definitely worth the time to check this one out too. And then we have just the Arch-Tempered Elder Dragons. They pretty much just did one of these for every base game elder over time. Most of them are just pure damage and health increases, but there are 3 in particular I think are specifically worth trying before moving on to Iceborne. Nergigante is a special one. He gets a bit of moveset change that actually transfers through to Ruiner Nergigante in Iceborne. It's just cool to see him as a sort of bridge in between base Nergi and his variants. There's also Arch-Tempered Zora Magdaros, who I firmly believe saves the concept of this fight, as regular Zora Magdaros requires absolutely no player input to succeed, whereas Arch-Tempered Zora Magdaros is an actually stress-inducing experience that makes it feel almost as dramatic as they wanted it to be in the first place. And then there's also Arch-Tempered Xenojiva, who I feel similarly about to Zora, in that the original fight was more spectacle than anything, but Arch-Tempered Zeno really turns it into more of a challenge and more of a proper fight to engage with and test your skill against, and it's just a fun experience to have with that monster that you don't normally get from its base version. And with that, that is all the base game ones that I think are particularly of note, but there are even more worth talking about when it comes to the Iceborne expansion, so I don't think we're winding down quite yet. Starting off the expansion then, we're going back to that first category to revisit it and add more, which is Master Rank event specific unique weapons. First up, we have a fish to whet your appetite. This is the quest to just deliver 2 great wetfish, but the ticket that you get from the rewards lets you craft the Wetfish Sabers, which is a pair of dual blades that is literally just you flinging around a pair of fish with physics and everything. They are incredible. We have Every Hunter's Dream 3 to hunt Nargacuga and Nightshade Palumu in the arena, and the reward from this lets you hunt the Black Eagle Charge Blade, another winner of the weapon design contest for the game, and is quite neat. Then we have Seeing is Believing, which is a Tigrex hunting quest in the arena as well, but completing this one gives you the ticket that you need to make essentially alcoholic dual blades. You just hold 3 mugs of ale in each hand and get to swinging. I mean, these things are incredible. I don't see any way to disagree with that. Then we have Scores of Ores, a reference to 3rd generation that sees you fight a Brachydios, and the reward for defeating him here is a ticket to let you craft the Pickaxe Longsword, which is silly of course, but also lovely for anyone who yearns for the mines. Then the final silly weapon unlocker is Beef is Never a Mistake, which has you hunt Glavenus and Ebony Odogaron in the Wildspire Waste, and the reward for this is a ticket to let you craft the Well Done Steak Hammer, which is one of my personal favorite cosmetics in the game. These are honestly all just gems, and especially once you unlock the ability to augment layered weapon looks onto things too, that's when they truly shine. Then we have the fun and silly helmets of Iceborne's event quests, starting with Pearl Snatchers to deliver a few monkeys to the box to get yourself the ticket to craft the Pearl Spring headgear, which is just a lovely little monkey guy that sits on your head. And if you do monkey business as well, which is a Furious Rajang event quest, you can get the Golden Monkey helmet as layered armor so you can wear it purely cosmetically. There's the Duffel Duty quest to deliver 8 penguins to a box, which gets you essentially their head to wear as your head, so it's definitely worth it for silly reasons. There's Flora Frostbite, which is a quest to deliver 10 ice blooms to the box, and in return you get a ticket that lets you craft the Wyverian Ears headgear, which does exactly what it sounds like, giving you some nice pointy elf ears. Then there's Skyward Snipers to deliver 5 Grandfather Mantigrels in the Coral Highlands to the box, and in return for that you get the ticket to craft the Downy Crake layered armor, where you just get a lovely little fluffy bird to sit on your head forever. There's the Fetching Light Pearls quest to, well, deliver 8 light pearls, and in return for doing so you can then get the Faux Kelby mask, which again is just incredibly lifelike and uncanny, but that makes it so perfect for the silliness it can provide, and who doesn't want to be at least a little bit Kelby? Then there is also Camouflage as a quest to hunt a Rathian in the Ancient Forest, and for that you get a ticket that lets you craft the Aptonoth version of the same helmet, just as lifelike and beautiful as the Kelby one, absolutely worth the time. And then we have a Chilling Entrance to slay Velkhana in the Ancient Forest, which then lets you craft the Sealed Dragon Cloth Scarf, after which is just a classic badass anime type headpiece that infinitely flows in the wind behind you while you're hunting. Then there is Don't Forget the Earplugs, which is a quest to hunt Yongaru Garuga in the arena, and the reward for doing so is a pair of bunny ears, and I know people like their bunny ears. Past that, we just have a couple of more full-bodied cosmetics. There is Muscle Monkey Madness to fight 2 Rajang in the arena, which is of course a bit of a challenge, but the reward is the Buff Body Alpha armor, which just replaces your armor with muscly goodness. And then there is also Mighty Muscle Monkey Madness to fight 2 Furious Rajang, and this gets you the layered Gamma Buff Body armor, which is even buffer, so that's really solid in itself. Then finally for cosmetics specifically, we have the Naked Truth quest to kill Shara Ishvalda, and the reward is some tickets to make essentially invisible layered armor that shows your underclothes to the world without also making you fully defenseless. Then finally we have one specifically I think you should do for the experience, but also the reward, which is Resident Evil Return of the Bioweapon. This is a special Black Veil Valhazak quest in the Rotten Vale with unique mechanics based around a sort of zombification concept, and completing this will get you various things, including the ability to just manually turn into a zombie whenever you want, which is pretty damn funny. Aside from that, there is still even more Arch-Tempered Elder Dragon event quests for those wanting to do those here too. They are definitely worth your time once you have appropriate sets for them, but those are a bit more obviously labeled special, and that just about does it for today then, everyone. Really, my list of event quests still in and active in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne that are absolutely worth doing even today, especially today, with the current player numbers for the game where they've been recently. I hope you've all enjoyed this then, and hopefully it reminds you or shows you for the first time a quest that you will thoroughly enjoy playing through, because so many of these are made for pure enjoyment. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.